Hey, greetings, fellow slingers. It's your trusted handler, Brian, and welcome you once again to the Digital Rage Room. Episode 6 of our Convergence run-through, Players' Insights. I got some good news and I got some bad news. The bad news, this episode is a two-parter. The good news, both parts are part of the same episode. Almost got you. So remember, when the first part's done, just keep on listening. Second part will fire up. Why not? Why not make it one episode? Well, you'll understand when you actually start listening, because when we were due to record on our regular scheduled evening, we weren't able to get all the hard slingers of yore behind their digital rage room, their virtual eye of destiny, so we could all rage on for you guys. So what I decided to do was do a little episode where you get both teams. You get Agent Rice and Coldwell together, and they kind of talk about their investigative procedures and how they're coming along with the AP. And then later on in the week, I got together with Agent Adesso and Kimura, and we talked about their insights into how they're going about their investigation for this AP too. And it was just kind of fun. So we were still able to bring something to all of you fellow slingers out there. Remember, you can follow us on YouTube over at RolledHard20, and be sure to smash that subscribe button so you never miss when we drop an episode. And leave us a comment. I reply to all comments. Same thing goes for emailing me over at rolledhard20podcast@gmail.com. I reply to all emails there as well. And if you're following us on one of the infamous podcast apps that seem to be out there in the wild, because we're on all of them, major and minor, leave us that 5-star rating and review if you would, please. It really does help the show. So let's stop wasting some time here. Not that we're wasting time. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's warm up our dice and top off our glass as Roll the Hard 20 podcast presents episode 6 of our Delta Green scenario Convergence. Players' Insights.
Investigation is bullshit, or we're just talking bullshit?
You can say it however you want to say it. I think that your method of investigation is it's very impressive, Chris. You too, Junior. His method of investigation is impressive. Your method of interrogation is very impressive. Let's get that two things straight.
The interrogation's great with
that's amazing.
Handcuff, when he ran away from us, I was like, holy fucking shit. I was like, that's right, I should have fucking handcuffed him to like something.
Best part,
hang on, let me lead us in and we'll go from there. Okay. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Is your trusted handler, Brian. With me, my hard slingers of your half group.
Half group.
we got Junior, we got Chris, and we're gonna hit up Tone and Sam on another episode because they're both out of town, and so they can't get to their respective computers. So basically, we're just gonna talk about our Convergence AP and what the agents are doing on their end. And it's kind of good that these two guys are together, and Sam and Tone will be together, because right now all four of the agents are split up into two pairs. So what were you saying, Junior? Sorry,
Oh, our whole situation with Todd. I mean, that guy, he's one slippery weasel.
Yeah, I really enjoy playing Todd. Todd's a fun guy. So
you play him well for the setting that he is in.
I was looking at some of our reviews, and actually this review comes from, gosh, I don't know, what was it? It was 6 months ago. So whenever that falls under the time frame of around Christmas time, I just got to put this out there because I showed Sam when he came out and we had sushi that was it, like a week and a half ago, and this was the review. This show is not for me. Their production quality is quite good, excepting internet delays, but I don't enjoy the DM's dick and fuck based bro humor. I'm not saying he's problematic. He sounds reasonable and thoughtful, but the humor and tenor is overly misogynistic. So that's a pass for me. And that was on Podcast Addict. I didn't realize we were there, so I
Oh,
guess that's
cool.
another platform for you to find us on. But at least he left us a 3-star review out of 5, so I guess.
Oh yeah, and he left a comment. So
yeah, I appreciate it. Well, thank you, Sterling Vix, for your 3-star review. I just want to put that out there. So watch your dick and butt joke humor.
That's all I got, though. That's what my arsenal's full of. That and fart jokes.
It's going to be a pretty small venue tonight. But yeah, right now, watching the way you guys have gone into the Allen residence and interviewed Jamie and Todd Allen, and then it went from an interview to an interrogation and investigation. That was over the whole AP, though. How have you felt the development of it as you guys first got on the scene at the FBI office in Knoxville?
I know for Rice, he's expecting this to be more fluid. Like his investigations don't typically fall into this, that he's got to interrogate people and really deep dive into what their motives are. So this is a little different for him. That's
because he's DEA, though, right?
He's ATF.
Oh, ATF. Well, maybe you should go DEA.
Because his stuff is very cut and dry, right? It's very cut and dry, and this isn't typically his like cup of tea of investigation.
Now, back during Gaslight, did he have to interview anybody during that time? I'd have to listen back to it, but I don't know if he ever did that.
No,
so
I don't recall him ever doing that.
I remember him breaking into a truck in front of the Chick-fil-A or whatever it was.
Taking like he was taking a nap and
yeah. And then being confronted by 2 individuals, but that really wasn't an interrogation. But what about Agent Coldwell? How's his view with the whole start of the AP and finding yourself in Groversville?
Well, finding ourselves in Groversville is kind of a weird place. It kind of reminds him back in his area, back home with the mining and everything. But he's doing fine. I mean, the interrogation portion, he's been doing some interrogation work before, especially on his most recent cases. That's why he's more not hot-headed, but quicker to churn to, aggression in a way. He's kind of dealt with a lot of small fish to kind of reel out bigger fish. So he's kind of trying to use the same tactics with Todd. Maybe we could shake him up, get some bit more information out of him.
Yeah. Now, as a player, Junior, you really taken this like an active role in what you're doing at this Allen house. I think that's really cool, because I know sometimes you would sit back and kind of watch, like when Ratke was doing Deep Waters with you, he seemed to be like talking a lot and doing a lot of stuff too. And you were kind of like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then interjecting here and there. But you've really, as a player, just focus fired in. It reminds me a lot of Rafu.
Rafu.
Yeah.
He was one hell of a player or character to play. He was a madman too, though.
Yeah, he was very forward, very aggressive in his decisive decision making. So, and I know.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Chris, I know that Sam had mentioned that when you were going through Jane Allen's bedroom, and you were checking under the bed, you were checking, all the drawers, pulling the drawers out, checking in the closet, checking above the closet, and doing all these things. I remember he was saying, man, Chris isn't leaving nothing unturned here. And then when it paid off, he was like, I guess it worked out. He was shocked that it actually came to fruition. So,
yeah, I think for Rice, his career and his interaction with criminals is that everybody's a suspect in his life. Every interaction he has he looks at everybody as a suspect. And furthermore, he looks at that everybody's lying. So rather than take anybody for their word, he's going to do his own, deeper dive, analysis, investigation to uncover the truth or details of information that he might be able to use in a case or against, a suspected criminal.
It's kind of funny. It's like when we did our prologues for this AP, you get a little flavor of of the characters, but how they get brought into this mission. Not so much about their backstory. You don't really understand that, Agent Coldwell, he's been working down in New Mexico doing these things and trying to run the cartels and stuff. You don't realize that Rice views everybody as a suspect. You don't know what Adesso has been doing or how each is suffering from something inside until it starts playing out over the course of the AP.
Yeah, because the agents are thrust into situations where it triggers. I don't want to use this word. I'm trying to think of trauma. I was going to say something else, but it triggers a trauma that they may have experienced in their life that they just can't get over, and they continue to do these things that may not necessarily be viewed by others as traditional or accepted, but that's the way that they feel comfortable operating.
And it eventually makes the fellow agents bonds of you. So as you start going through more and more scenarios or have tighter instances with one another, you start to develop a bond with Agent Coldwell, and he develops one with Agent Kimura and Adesso and everybody else. And then as you have to start burning your bonds back home, you still maintain some form of what you got by having the bonds with the fellow agents, which don't get broke, by the way. Those are like I think the bonds that they say cannot be broken. I'd have to look at the rules, but last time I saw them, I could have swore that they said that those particular bonds cannot be, you can't burn them. So
I would imagine you wouldn't, because who better to understand you than someone else that's seen all the weird, unbelievable, undescribable things that you have as well.
Yeah, it's kind of neat that as your character gets to a point where he becomes unrelatable to the people around you, the only other people he can talk to about this shit are the people that just went through it with you. Now, I could imagine that if your partner dies or something happens to, say, Agent Rice or Kimura or whatever, how that might affect the overall sanity of your particular agent, or vice versa. Like if Agent Coldwell goes down in the middle of something and Rice is left behind, like, fuck, man, this is like the only guy that could have related to what I'm going through right now. I don't even have the option of calling him if I need to speak to somebody in the middle of the night or the middle of the week. So,
well, and the agent in that circumstance, the agent, they need to be able to process what they've seen amongst each other. And to your point, if something was to happen to Caldwell, Rice doesn't have anybody else. He's got to push that down. He's got to push it down because he's got a job to do, not just in his normal day-to-day ATF duties, but including any other Delta Green, missions. But there's a point where that bubble's over. You can only push it down for so long, and something's going to happen where it pushes him over the edge.
And then at that point, you wonder if that agent would actually become the mission.
Yeah, I think, when we ran Gaslight,
yes,
that guy was,
yes,
I
was going to go with that too. Randall Schaefer.
Yeah. Schaefer. Yep.
Yeah. Doc Rondell. He just started to see too much, and he was a great asset that went from friendly to agent, and some shit just went down, and he flipped his lid. He's like, that's it. I'm out of here. And he took the stuff that he needed he absconded with the stuff that would help him disappear. Unfortunately, he tapped into some dark forces, which kept him on the radar, and they just didn't want him out there. And that was part of the whole title of Gaslight, was how you guys were brought onto the scene, as far as him having personal documents on each agent. So
yeah, I was thinking about our first interaction, that when we pulled up to the Allen house, and Caldwell's like, hey, I'm gonna go in good cop. And it was total opposite. It's like it flipped. I'm like, okay, well, I'll be bad cop. And And then very quickly, Caldwell was like, forget this. Good cop's not going to work, or I don't care to do it.
It went right out the window.
He went right in.
It allowed an opportunity presented itself. I mean, as agents, we hear yelling and fighting, and as Tom comes out, I mean, it was more than perfect to go in and be like, hey, this is a domestic dispute. Like, that gives us reason to go into the house without any probable cause, or, that is our probable cause. Go into the house and ask our questions.
Yeah, I never had, and I didn't understand until you just said it of why you changed your method.
That was my method. Yeah, that was the only reason I switched it, because since they were yelling at each other and arguing, and he ran out, or not ran out the door, we ran into each other at the front door.
Mm-hmm.
I think a proper officer response would have been like, whoa, hey buddy, like, pump the brakes, like, what's going on here?
And
so that's why it
perfect
changed.
too. The way that when you could hear them yelling at each other, through this vinyl siding, and eventually he opens up the door and he's standing there ready to, he doesn't even, just, what the fuck? All of a sudden he sees two strangers standing on his porch, and you're just like, he goes to push past you, and you did like this move on him and, knocked him back onto the floor, and you're like, just stay there.
Stay put, boy.
Yep.
It's an interesting location we're in too, because it's a little more rural, and we could probably get away with a little bit more in that rural setting than we could if we were in kind of a more urban area.
Oh, definitely.
Like where Sam and Tony are at, they're in a more urban area. You wouldn't have been able to get away with some of the stuff that you did there.
Yeah, I mean, Caldwell and Rice could have really ratcheted up their behavior in this setting, but at the sake of, something violent that would impact our sanity.
Well, we were talking about before you jumped on, Junior, Chris and I were talking about how when you guys found the 45 with the serial number ground off, first thing Tony says is, "Oh, somebody's going to commit suicide." And it's funny how that's where his mind immediately goes to. But Chris, you were saying that it rightfully so, that if you guys did put that on him like that, you guys would take sanity damage, period. But you'd also have to remember that Jamie saw you guys are the last two people that saw her husband with, and he was very much alive. He may have been handcuffed on the floor, but when she left, the three of you were all still alive. So that would just open up a whole
That's why we would leave a letter.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta leave a letter.
The two feds convinced me.
I'm sorry, I couldn't take it, Martha.
It's that fine line, though. I mean, we really, playing these agents, we really have to, to some degree, we get to, freelance how we think, somebody may react, behave, or do something in that moment. That's easy. You think of it like a movie, like, oh man, this is like a movie. I could just like pistol whip the guy or kill him, and we just go about our way. But no, we have to play it like this is real life for these agents, and that our actions have consequences, not just to ourselves, but perhaps to the investigation, the other agents, and things that are happening around us that could influence or change the direction that we all have to operate in.
Think of it like this. Remember what your mission is. And is this individual your mission? And if killing him help the mission, or will it actually start to pull it down? Will it be more of a detriment to your mission to kill this guy? Because then you'd get embroiled in an investigation. Yeah. The murder of this guy, you really don't need that. I mean, you might be able to hide it off for a while, but eventually it's going to come back down that, hey, these two guys were the last two with him, and even though it says suicide, okay, let's bring him in. Let's, Sheriff Oakley's probably going to want to have a talk with you. He's going to want to contact your superiors. And, oh, look, you're with the ATF and you're with the U.S. Marshals. You guys aren't even FBI. And then things start spiraling like that. Well, bring your other two boys in here. Let's see who they are. And then put you all four on ice and find out what's going on. And then the whole thing might just start. Then it might just be a shooting your way out of the out of the jailhouse, which would be interesting.
Yeah, we didn't want the additional unwanted attention.
Yeah, it's interesting for Rice, having never met Caldwell, to kind of have those two agents work together and develop a rapport. It's like, we've been kind of thrust into this investigation without a whole lot of opportunity to kind of get to know each other. So it's been interesting for me playing Rice of like, well, how do I interwork that, the communication and establishing a bond or relationship with Caldwell?
Well, the good thing is that we're both agents we have similar practices, similar things in common. I mean, that's probably Caldwell. He works with a lot of different agencies, so he's very fluid with who he works. I think he just likes to keep his style, but he's very lenient on how he operates.
Now, didn't Caldwell knows Kimura and Odessa? Does he know them from a previous mission though?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm, Rice is kind of fourth wheel here. Is that at least you guys? It's like he's like trying to find his way, of interaction, where he doesn't come off. Maybe it's about being accepted, right? So it'll be interesting once we all four get back together, or the whole team, and see how that interaction, continues.
But to think with Odessa and Kimura and Caldwell, they were all together at the very beginning, and technically it was a few years ago, like 8 or 9 years ago, that they did their first mission, and then they hadn't seen him since. And then after the Deep Waters incident with the whole discovery and the loss and everything, Caldwell kind of dropped off the radar for a while, and that's when he really got focused in on his work. Because didn't you say that he was kind of damaged after that? He just didn't really have much of a care after that. So even they're having to relearn him again and determine where he's coming from. I don't want to speak for those two guys because obviously they're not here right now, and I'm sure that their agents have their own thoughts and stuff. But that was what my takeaway was watching the interaction between all four of you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the four agents establish connections and a relationship, for potentially other missions that they all are on again later.
Yeah, if they survive.
So far we have somebody that may not be surviving.
Yeah. Odessa needs some medical assistance. Stat.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, obviously we weren't there, Caldwell and I, so we don't even know what happened. So for us to even really speak to what happened is kind of premature at this point.
Oh, but we'll have a very interesting exchange once we do meet up with each other, because what we went through, and I can only imagine when they went through, we're going to need a lot of time to swap back and forth of the information we have.
Yeah, and once you start comparing your notes at I don't know if you're going to do it at the Country Bunker, whatever that place was called, Merle's Country Bunker. When you get yourself a fat and juicy there, or if you're going to wait until you guys get to the shut eye or not. So,
yeah, Caldwell is cautiously observing what's happening around him, because I think we're going to have a confrontation with Oakley at some point.
Well, he did advise you guys that there was really nothing in Groversville that warranted an investigation. Certainly not outside of the investigation he'd already conducted, and determined that Billy Ray, whatever he did was on his own, that there were no drugs involved or any of that other bullshit angle that you guys were trying to peddle his way. And he in so many words, really just said, okay, once you guys are done, you'll see nothing's going on, go get a steak, stay the night, and let me know in the morning when you're blowing out so I could make sure I see you guys right to the border of Groversville and send you packing.
It's like that scene in Rambo when
That-
he's
it's
walking
exactly-
through the town.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking when I was putting that together. Is you got Sheriff Teasel picks up fucking John Jay and drives him right out of town, deposits him, turns around, and then he sees him in the rear view mirror. He's like, that son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's definitely he's hiding something. Definitely hiding something.
Possibly, who knows? I mean, like I said, I've taken a few liberties with the AP, so I don't think anyone else's Convergence AP will be the same as this one. In fact, Chris, you said that you'd seen the message on YouTube that somebody had written in a comment saying that they wanted to, that he had finished running it as well, and that he wanted to compare notes. Donnie Cornwell. I said, you bet. Let me know, and I'll reach out to me, and we'll get together and we'll compare some of our AP notes, because I'm kind of curious how he did his as well, because I'm sure that some of the stuff that's in ours, it's not even in the book. I already know that. So
I'd be interested to what was that? Do you know if that commenter had his own podcast, or are they just running a normal local table? Or
I don't know. I didn't really research him beyond just seeing the comment when I was posting the show the other day. I was like, oh, somebody left a comment, and I just said, yeah, you bet. Reach out to me, and we'll get together, and I'll shoot you some of my notes or whatever.
Be interesting to see what his comments are.
Yeah, if he's ran the show, that'd be cool. I'd like to listen to it too, or maybe after we're a few more episodes into it, though, because I don't want anybody else bleeding off into my ear, in the sense that I don't want to jump on anybody else's toes, and I don't want to be influenced in the direction I take what we do here too. Because the way, I don't know if I want to tell you guys this, but there's like a lot of things that we've already done that's not in the book that I like. So
Like pistol whipping people?
yeah, that's not in there too, but it can be. We can put that on the back end. But yeah, I'm having a great time so far running this. I know that after this, we're going to do lot 27, which was originally auction 127. It's lot 27. But I've been working on that as well, and that's coming along. So I figure in about another 2 weeks, it should be completely done. So we'll be having that up and ready. And it seems like we get a lot of good traffic off our homebrew stuff.
Good.
So,
Yeah,
It's the
I like.
opportunity to be most creative.
yeah, definitely. Just it kicks open the doors on everything, and I don't have to be worrying about looking through stuff because it's already up here. We could just let it ride. Sometimes I feel like when I'm running a published adventure that if somebody's asking me a question, I feel like I need to know the answer. So without jumping on it right away, I want to look it up really quick. And then sometimes I'll just have to wing it and correct it on the back end and make sure it wasn't mentioned someplace else. But with our own homebrew, yeah, I like doing that.
We still
know-
catch off guard every once in a while.
Yeah, you do. Well, that's half the bloopers on the back end of this thing. Is like, oh yeah, look, he can't figure it out. Look at him. We're gonna go pee again.
Oh, jeez. Looking at your the poster behind you, Brian, the Thing. Have you ever thought of, or is there a Delta Green AP that is similar to something like the Thing?
I think there's two of them. I think Lover in the Ice is similar to that. I will probably run it at some point, so I don't want to talk too much about it. And I think that, gosh, I could be wrong, but I think Extremophilia is similar to that. And I was preparing to do that one, and we ran Sweetness instead. In fact, I was reading it when I was on my way to visit you and your dad when I was still in California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had taken it with me, so, if I was stuck in traffic or whatever, I could kind of look down and make a few scribble notes or whatever.
Well, I posted on and the reason I mentioned the Thing is the movie's awesome. The
yeah.
original is fantastic. In fact, I think I want to watch that tonight now.
Yeah.
But I was curious if there was something like that for Delta Green because it's so much in the flavor of Cthulhu.
Yeah, definitely along the vein of that.
I had posted that on our Discord, the Delta Green scenario database.
Yeah, you know what? I need to look at that again and go through some of that.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of cool stuff in there that we could get, ideas for future shows.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I don't know what the website of that was, but I think I saved the web
Could be on our
address.
notes, not too far. Oh, there it is.
That's right. I put it up. I didn't pin it, or I'll pin it. But yeah, I mean, I like these. These are it's for us. It's a nice departure from the fantasy realm of.
I did see that. Okay, yeah, this is really cool. Somewhere along the line, I came across this too, and I think that I saved it somewhere. But yeah, I really like this also.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Delta Green stuff. It is still fantasy to a degree, but it's like real world where I think us as players can connect a little bit more with the characters that we're playing because it's in a more real world type of scenario. And
it's more tangible too.
It is for me. It seems more
world,
believable. Yeah. Seems more believable the way that the agents are interacting and how they're communicating. I don't know. That's for me though.
No, and I get it. I know Sam, he really likes the fantasy. And obviously that's his type of art and whatnot. So I always want to make sure that we can get back to the D&D or to the Pathfinder or the basic fantasy or any one of those other systems that they have out there. Dungeon Crawl Classics, whatever, but we'll do that more in smaller bites than what we were doing before. I don't want to run another 66 episode season again.
Ugh.
That was Dragon's Demand was a great AP, but man, it just went long. And it also didn't help. I know like when we were on our final lap, I was feeling exhausted from doing it. And I think it's because we had lost Koosh during it. Nick had gone away. We took on David. Ryan was gone. But I don't like people. I don't like it when that sounds wrong. I don't like people. No, I prefer to have everybody there from start to finish. And I think that, we do have a fluid roster of hosts on the show, which I hope to think that we don't have that any longer. Now with all 5 of us on here, the way we've got it, I know I said it before, but this is gold. I couldn't ask for 4 better players on the other side of the screen than this. So,
yeah, no, that's awesome. So far I'm really enjoying the Convergence AP. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Where I was going with this, I'm sorry, I kind of digressed there, but I know Tony really likes this system as well.
The suspense.
That is like suspenseful music.
Somebody just texted me. I got to clear out the text, otherwise it's going to keep going again.
I'll have to say this for Tony. This is like his jam.
Yeah, well, doing what he does for a living, he deals with criminals all the time. So I think I mentioned before that when he's playing opposite me, and I feel the heat, man. I really feel the heat.
Especially when he's questioning you.
Yeah, it's just, oh my gosh. But yeah, I said it a couple times. This is easily my favorite system. I just, like with you, Chris, it lends a sense of credibility to a tangible reality that we have. Obviously, we don't have things blowing out of people's chests and shit like that, or who knows, we do. But the thing is that you have cell phones, you've got cars, you have planes, you have time, an actual wristwatch, you have phones, all these different things. You're going to towns as opposed to, going to the fantastic castle in the sky or getting the MacGuffin that's down in the dungeon or something like that. So it's kind of cool to not have to suspend your belief to think that orcs are flying and stuff, but rather you've got somebody that's on a 50 cal that's embedded in somebody's garage and he's not even looking. He's just firing right through the garage door. just taking you out because something's crawled into his ear and is now controlling him to lay waste to the whole neighborhood. Where you could think of that kind of fear and say, yeah, I can almost mentally see that. That's unnerving. Whereas, it'd be hard to say, well, I'm thinking of a Remoraz popping out of the ice. Well, that's a great picture or a great cartoon or something like that. But to actually visualize the other things,
Yeah, totally. It's pretty cool.
Anything else, boys?
No, this is good. I'd
Judy, what's your take on this system really quick before we say goodnight?
I like it. I'm in the same boat. It brings out a more realistic fear and presence over everything. I mean, it's a little more relatable, like you were saying. You could imagine someone plowing into the thing, or you could imagine putting yourself in. I think everyone's seen enough scary movies to see, things come out of the drain and have that frightful fear in you of the unknown. You're like, what the hell is that thing? Like, now I got to check my shower drain every time I go in there to make sure nothing's coming out.
I'm glad to hear that. That makes me happy. Do you have a preference between Sword and Fantasy or this?
I haven't been playing it nearly as long as you guys have. So even with the Fantasy, I've still, like a couple years, maybe like 6 or 7 years now.
You're not a rookie, though. I mean, you're way more than seasoned.
I still enjoy both. I still enjoy playing either one because I feel like I haven't been burnt out on Fantasy. I still like it. There's a lot of things, even with Pathfinder now, like even reading the locations, the lore of areas and stuff like that. It's like I could still enjoy it because I could still imagine it myself.
Well, we are going to finish Bloodlords. There's no doubt in my mind. I just want to get these 3 APs out, and then what we'll do is we'll go for like another 10 episodes of Bloodlords, and then we'll do something else, and then we'll go back. So
it's a good transition. It's a good break between both, so we don't get completely burnt out.
Exactly, and I think that's important because I think that there were times that I was running Bloodlords or I'd run Dragon's Demand, and then I would take a side venue to do something on here, whether it was Victim of the Art or Under a Pale Moon or whatever else. And then get back into Bloodlords again. And there was just like a bunch of stuff that was going on at the same time. I just want to be able to mentally devote my time and have you guys not think about, oh, wait, we don't have this initiative aspect in this game. We actually have something else. Or I can't make a perception check. I have to do a hum int check or whatever. Or the other way around. We don't have hum int in Pathfinder. We have this. So, sense motive. I think it's easier if we stay on one point for a little while and then I don't know, just for the other. Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. Well, shit, guys. Thanks for joining me ever so briefly.
It's always good to catch up.
Yeah, I'll get caught up with Sam and Tony some point this week, and we'll be back on our regular scheduled evening.
Looking forward to the next one. Yeah.
Right. All right, brothers.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep.
We'll talk next week.
Sounds great.
All right.
Good night, brothers.
Right on.
You're smooth.
Yeah, smooth and silky.
Yeah. So how's the brothers
I missed
doing
us last week.
Yeah, I missed you guys too.
I was up playing Soldier. Camp Slow.
Solia.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. If nothing else, I got 12 hours of mandatory continuing legal education credit, which I really enjoyed because it wasn't a wasted of 3 days. So that worked out.
Well, that's good. Like I was telling Tone before you jumped on, Sam, it's been hot as hell out here. And
I bet.
I am wiped out. Could go for a nice nap, but instead I'll just have to refresh myself.
Some apple juice.
Oh, yeah. So my brothers, they're doing well, right?
Ugh.
Doing
So I figured
great, man.
what we're going to do, and I already ran Chris and Junior through the same kind of thing, is I want to basically...
You ran them through?
I ran them through. Double fist and elbow deep. That's for all you podcast addicts out there. What I want to do is I'm going to get your perspective from the agent's perspective and then also from the player's perspective on how things have been going, where you think it is going towards, and just kind of get your overall assertion of what's going on. So,
Yeah, we're screwed.
yep.
And as a player, Adesso screwed. So
Yeah. Being hit by a blob for more than half the hit points just out of the can is a little daunting. And then I'm thinking, how effective would it be to start shooting at this thing? It's a blob. I'm thinking maybe a chemical agent, like a fire extinguisher or something else, maybe more effective. But now I'm like, what else would we do? So,
well,
at
they
that
say a
point-
lot of fatal accidents happen in the bathroom, and that's true in Delta Green as well.
Well, let me lead us in first, and then we'll
Go ahead.
go from there. All right. It'd be cool.
All right, hold on. All right, now go. Listeners, he just left.
No, it's just, I don't know. Somebody's calling me. I just turned the ringer off, though. But greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is your trusted hand, Brian. With me, my hard slingers of yore. Samwise, Tone Dog, playing Agent Ichimaru Kimura. God, I hate that freaking name. And Agent Paulie Adesso, respectively.
Just say Ichi.
Really quick before we begin, guys, my fellow slingers out there, we're not seeing the number of subscribers we'd like to see over on our YouTube channel. So please, if you just found the show and are enjoying it, or if you've been a longtime listener and haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. It really does help, and I reply to all those comments. So with that out of the way, and my cat's still crying behind me.
Well, we that's just like a wide open area for a joke relying upon 35 years of friendship. And you may have to edit this out, but it's not unknown for us to have Ryder have some whining in the background.
Jesus, now I really got to fucking edit this out. So anyways, basically what I wanted to do this evening for this this portion of this extended episode that we will have is kind of get your feel on what brought each and Paulie to Groversville and how you proceeded with your investigation, where you think the investigation is going to go, as well as your part of the investigation when you went to the Spivey residence. And hear it from both sides as well, like from the player side as well as from the character side.
Sammy, go ahead.
I usually let you take the lead, Adesso, and then I'll, chime in with some color commentary.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, when we went to Spivey's place, that was pretty cool because we were able to flesh out some of the things that we didn't know. For instance, how tight were these two? Did they really? Or wait a minute, Spivey. I'm trying to remember who Spivey is now that I've said it. Just walked right into that, didn't I?
Billy Ray Spivey.
Yeah.
I like how you were just vamping like a kid who doesn't know his book report, and you're just like, so, well, with Spivey, I think Spivey is very Spivey.
That's right. So we go check on Spivey. We see his home life. He's not doing very well. His home life is just kind of whatever. But he was a good kid, no problem. He disappears, and it really threw me off that our people called up the parents and then told them that Spivey was dead.
Well, they only contacted one parent because the father was already demised.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but the mom gets told that her son's dead, and as Agent Odessa sitting there going, I just talked to him, so either he's dead or they fed this guy a bill of goods, and if he's dead, we need to know why and what happened. So I guess we should have worked that into our investigation. We could have called back to headquarters and said, did you guys kill him? And if you didn't kill him, how did he die? And who was watching him when he did die? On the other hand, we also know now that we're not expecting something to come out of him like the Hidden. Remember or even Alien, where the thing goes down his throat, lives in his chest, and then he explodes. we don't expect that to happen here because it looks like the proto matter is from external, probably grafted itself onto him, and maybe burning so many calories that he just hadn't had a go yet, because it's consuming all the matter and all the calories and water and anything else, and converting it directly to muscle mass and bone, tendons, and other things. Therefore, there's no waste yet, or not enough to be waste, or it's super efficient that it doesn't generate any waste, but it's unlikely. But that's what was going through my mind. And hear that he was dead, that was a problem. Hear that he'd been killed, that's another interesting matter. We'll have to take a look at that.
I still think he's got something inside of him, and I'm not going to rest until he either pukes it or shits it out. We'll figure that out later, though.
Shit weasel.
Yeah, if he's not going to have a mouth taking something down to drink, then we'll have to go the other way.
And you got to wonder if there might be another agenda on Derringer's end to bring that forth to Miss Spivey, whether or not her son was dead. You know, they're already laying the groundwork for his demise, or to sequester him, or whatever they're planning to do, or maybe he is dead. Who knows?
Yeah, I think he's still. Right? They just captured him, and then they're just saying that he's dead, and they'll produce a body later.
Well, at the end of the day, we may need to clean our area, and we may need to clean all the people who are involved. So it's entirely possible that if he's not dead, he will be soon. So cleaning the area and all those involved may be just part of what's going on, and they just came a little ahead of it, because how would he explain himself? He shows up, and let's say something's been grafted to his body and he's got no memory of it, and then he goes out to another doctor beyond our control, or starts doing experiments somewhere else, blood tests and things, and his tissue gets out. I mean, as Delta Green, how would we control that? And the answer would be, well, he doesn't leave. It's now the Hotel California. He's checked in, but he ain't checking out.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryder.
I'm just going to build on that, but go ahead, Sammy.
I was going to say that I think we're the ones that effed up by saying that he was alive when, they had already communicated that he was dead. We never cleared that with Derringer or anything like that. They never said we informed the parents that he's dead. So,
well, no, we didn't inform them that he was alive. We just came out to the place. No, did we?
Yeah, we're the ones that said we just got done something like talking to your son, and she's like, "What? I thought he was dead." So we kind of opened up that can of worms.
Oh.
I believe.
Go back and listen to it. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I believe that's what we did. That's why we were backpedaling, because they had already told her that he was dead, and we're the ones that said he wasn't.
Well, that information can be found in episode 3 of our Convergence run through.
Okay, we fucked that up because we didn't know. Things change.
Oh, it's not like we got to work. They all got to be cleaned up anyways, so it's not like they're going to blab or anything.
Oh, that's interesting. Do they need to be cleaned? And do we need to have, what is it, Angel Spivey? Do we need to have her killed? I don't think so. She didn't see anything. Her kid disappeared.
Not up to us.
Well, if we were making,
we're going to go back. Well, yeah, like everything that we've done so far. In the one with, sorry, we keep forgetting the name. The Victim of the Art, is that it, Ryder? With the Camaro and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have to clean up that family, and they sure as hell took them and made the parents like bad parents and send the kid off to some whatever it was, foster home or something.
No, at the end of the Victim of the Art.
Is that it or no?
Yeah, I think it was something similar to that. I'd have to listen to the beginning of Sweetness, because there was some kind of an arson fire. I believe that took place at that house, and everybody perished. The mother, the father, and and you're thinking
Sweetness is the one I was thinking of. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's how they cleaned up a Victim of the Art.
We basically just need to survive.
But you have an ally now, Joe Krista. So.
Oh, he's going to help us out big time.
Yeah,
he's going to be the first to go.
Yeah, Joe Krista is going to have to be clean, because if he sees that blob coming, it's going to be a problem. Assuming he makes a sanity check and doesn't go bonkers anyway.
That's true. I mean, he may need to.
Yeah.
So, But so where do you think that your investigation is going to lead you? I mean, do you have your groundwork laid out on where you want this to go?
Yes.
Or are you still going to kind of wing it? Because I know you're supposed to hook up with the other two agents at the Merle's country bunker.
Well, now we know that the problem is the blob. Where it came from, we don't know. But currently, it's at the other house. So we can cordon that house off. Either we're going to clean it, or maybe we can grab it for study. I don't know. Probably not. But now we know where the problem is. So everything else is now going to be extraneous. Well, Coldwell and Rice are now they're just gathering the information. But by process of elimination, we no longer need to run over there. I mean, one of the big areas that I want to investigate was the reservoir, because all the things happened at the reservoir. But now with the creature in the house, I don't know if we need to go to the reservoir, at least not yet. Ultimately, we may have to. What if this is only a part of a bigger whole?
Yeah, in my thoughts right now, the thing that you encountered in the bathroom is like residual. Either the kid went in there and showered or shit something out, whatever it was. That's a side thing. I don't think that's the main thing. The main thing is who grafted all this onto him and all that. And while it would be convenient that Merle, who has 12 buildings in this town, I think he's going to be just like a distraction that we're going to waste time shabooming around with him, Mr. Wesley. And I think that's, like a side thing. I doubt that he is this kingpin and linked to it at all, but maybe. But yeah, everyone's got a hard on for fucking the reservoir and the quarries and shit like that. I think we've seen too many movies and stuff like that. I don't know if it's leads to there, it may though. I mean, it seems like a nice plot device there, but everyone's got a hard on for that reservoir.
Well, it's the common nexus. All the kids were hanging out there.
Yeah.
Well, they still do hang out at the Nexus. I'm sorry. They still do hang out at the reservoir. In fact, I had mentioned to Weaver on the previous one of these that because he was talking about the reservoir. I said, well, yeah, most likely. I mean, if you're going to be looking for these other teenagers, that would be your best bet to find them. And somebody went off with the old mine quarry. I don't remember who.
The quarry, yeah.
Yeah, who focused in on that. So,
yeah, I think that the kids there, maybe something was watching them. They're like, oh, these kids, and nabbed old Bud when he was like slacking or something. And yeah, if the kids are still going there, like maybe it's like Creepshow 2. He was swimming and there was something in the water that got him. I don't know.
Well, that makes the most sense mechanically, right? If this thing is obviously old time something, it's not from the planet, or if it is the planet, it's something different. So where would it come from? If it came from the sky, no, we'd have got no reports of anything falling out of the sky. Okay, so it came from the planet. Well, you got big holes in the ground. Oh, that's a good place to start, because unknown things often can come out of holes in the ground. So we got two big ones, a reservoir and a mine. Those are the most logical places to come from. I mean,
cattle mutilation and all that shit.
Yeah, you got to remember that Billy Ray went missing when he was on his way back home from his girlfriend's house late at night by himself. It's most unlikely that he went and stopped off at the reservoir to have a late night swim by himself.
Unless it was a horror movie, then he would have.
Put on his fake boobies and go for a swim.
Yeah.
If it's in the water, that makes sense, right? It's in the water, it's hibernating on his skin. He goes and sees his girlfriend, and then he's driving back, and then it overwhelms him, and boom, he's gone. Yeah. And then he shows up again, which is really unusual,
and she's pregnant
and everything else.
So she's going to have like a little fucking jello baby coming out.
Yeah.
A jello weasel.
Well, not to mention, that's also interesting because if he had contact with her while he was infected, did he pass anything on to her? Because she's missing too.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of neat things to figure out here. But the path of the investigation I see is, okay, we've got a piece now instead of the whole thing. then where's the whole thing come from? If it's coming out of the sewers, all right, let's find out where the sewers go. Where's the water source from? Where does the sewer drain to? Does this town have its own water treatment plant, refuse reclamation? Does it drain to the ocean, the river? What? We'll have to find out and go from there. If we're thinking that's the most logical way for it to move around, or at least hide, grow, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's like remember in the old Jurassic Park book where they're on like some island, Costa Rica type thing, and the kids got attacked by these little dinosaur things. This is in the story, not the movies.
Yeah, what are those things called again?
Yeah, well, they to me, I think that's what the little shit weasel in the bathtub is like a thing that spawned from a larger place.
That's what you're thinking is what you're dealing with that. Well,
I'm thinking it's like a remnant of something larger that either got out or got chopped off or got shit out if it was inside of him. I don't know.
and you got to think of the possibilities that you saw this thing ooze out of the drain and reformulate, deal with you, and then ooze its way back down past the drain. It's probably not still sitting there. Who knows? Maybe it is, but if it has that kind of viscous ability of moving, it's probably, it could be at the neighbor's drain at this point.
Only one way to find out. Ichi
there.
goes to the bathroom to take a number 2.
Yeah.
Well,
in the tub.
That clip, you take off and nuke the whole site from over. The only way to be sure.
Yeah, the fun thing is about this Delta Green, and maybe we need to figure out a way to make that more into play. It's like, I don't even consider the other people. I figure they're all going to be greased, and I'm not going to worry about trying to save them or anything like that at the end. If I can save them before and say you need to leave town, and why don't you take the family and go into some hotel or go out of town and go to your house, like just get them out of there, then that's great. But if, I figure anyone that we come in contact with or touch, they're going to get a derringer to the head.
Now, when we left off, each had put Adesso in the car. He was kind of bruised up in the midsection, and
Had to buckle him for him.
yeah, you had to buckle him up. But I mean, you as you were feeling his tendered chest and body, you started like getting a little antsy. Maybe
I got a
wanting
thing for
some.
Italian men.
Yeah, that have been whose meat has been tenderized. But I'm curious to see where that's going to go.
Hopefully he doesn't have a heart attack and die.
Well,
Cardiac bruising, who knows?
well, where are you? What are your plans, or do you want to keep those close to your chest of where you're going to be driving at this point?
We're going to meet them, right? Going to meet the other agents.
You want to go meet them with Adesso the way he is, right?
Well, we can take them to a hospital, and you said what? A hospital is 1 to 3 hit points?
No,
1 to
it
4 hit
will
points?
take time, but he'll get the full 4.
Well, a full 4. So either way, it's not bringing him back up all the way. And we're on a time limit with these guys too.
Right.
Not necessarily the sheriff's time limit, but our Delta Green timeline.
Yeah, you'll be on your own time limit.
Yeah. So we don't have time to have Nurse Adesso, not nurse, but you know what I mean, take care of him and all that other than what we can do in the field, right?
Candy Striper
Probably
Adesso
find
reporting for duty.
He'll just be hanging out in the back with his gun ready. So sharpshooter there can take care of it. But, there's not much we can do.
We get somebody who's got some emergency medical training, an EMT, somebody like that, or a licensed vocational nurse, somebody in town that's got medical experience that can get him. I mean, practically speaking, it's just in game terms, it's just a couple hit points, but it's really more of a stabilization thing. So as long as he doesn't get worse, he'll be fine, and he'll make the slow recuperation. So
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think
probably
currently you're
close
not
to 6 o'clock at night too for you guys. So finding someplace that may be open. In fact, I don't remember.
In fucking Dog Patch or whatever the name of this town is, it's like Merle's Candy Striper heaven. Maybe he has some nurses there. He can help you.
Yeah, and it's what day is it? It's a Monday, I believe. You might be able to find someplace that might be open, like a vet, maybe cinch you up, get you a
But also
splint.
go back to the previous place where Derringer is and all that, maybe they can do something there. But
That's hours. That's like 4 hours away.
yeah, that's what I mean. It's like any of our choices is going to take away time, and that is what is of the essence at the moment.
Almost just
In
buy him
all
a bus
candor.
ticket and put him on a bus.
Yeah.
In all candor, all he needs is a painkiller. Because I'm thinking, what, at the most he's got broken ribs, and you can't do anything with broken ribs anyway, because it was blunt force contusion. So if the internal organs are intact, and you're right, a vet should be able to determine that because we could use their X-ray machine. If he's good, then it's just make him comfortable and tape his ribs up. That's all they can do.
Yeah, that's
Well,
all they would do
as-
anyways.
We're
Yeah.
like, as a min-maxer in this thing, the handler, the GM did not say that you're losing hit points by the hour. He didn't, elude that if you don't get treatment, you're going to start losing hit points. It's like you took a big hit and now you're basically 100% with just less hit points. It's not like
Right.
you sprained an ankle or snapped an arm or anything like that would preclude you from acting exactly how you would. It's just now you just have to be careful to not get hit.
And when he gets some rest, he'll get 1 hit point back from one night's sleep. Every night that he sleeps, he gets another hit point. So
Yeah. So, that's what I mean. It's like if we're looking at this as just playing the game, you just have less hit points right now. It's not like you need to remedy something or your leg's going to fall off. It's like, no, you're fine.
That's good. Simplify it. That's correct. I like it.
Now, if we can get you more hit points, that'd be better. But
It
if
would
we
be.
can't,
Yeah, if we can break into a pharmacy.
yeah, I mean that they have rules for if you take stimulants to help accentuate your abilities or keep you awake longer. But then I think at the end of a certain amount of time, you start feeling the detriments to that, and it starts causing you exhaustion or focus, lack of focus, things like that. So,
Yeah.
but
That should it sounds like a problem, but an easily remediable one. So yeah, I guess the best thing would be to link up with the other agents, make Odessa as comfortable as you can, and then continue to move on our plan, which is okay, we found a piece of it. We'll have to lay over the town again and try to figure out the most likely place where this thing is going or where it may likely end up.
And we just let Derringer know that this house had some kind of thing in it, and if he wants to send some people over covertly to check it out, he can.
And I'm curious to see if eventually the 4 of you get back together and continue your investigation that way, or if you maintain a level of separation to cover more ground.
No, this is all leading to one spot, so I think we're all going to have to come together eventually. I think we reconnoiter or reconvene or whatever that word is at, Merle's grub bucket, whatever it's called, the shit shack. What is it again?
The country bunker.
The gospel and grub. So we
The
meet there.
shit
Yeah.
bucket.
We go there and we, exchange information and all that. And maybe someone else will have a fresh take on it because, obviously the other players are hearing us and seeing what we're doing, but as our characters, they don't know what's going on. So
They're out of the loop on all that
do the
stuff.
dump. Yeah.
Other than you guys laughing at some of the other stunts that each of you pull with your NPCs as well, you guys are still
Aside
kind
from
of
Coldwell roughing up the fucking dude, Todd.
It's all-
Todd is, so
Sit down, Todd. Whoa. Now we're gonna handcuff you. Whoa, what the hell? Yeah, what the hell is right? Oh,
Well, I think that should do it for giving me a little bit of insight and giving our listeners a little bit of insight. Of course, I'll probably have to do a little bit of editing on this one, but not a big deal. Not a big deal.
5
gotta
o'clock.
handle that cat.
Well, say goodnight, my fellow slingers, until Sunday.
Good night,
See you
my
Sunday,
fellow
brother.
slingers.
All right. Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, leave us that 5-star rating and review. We also have a YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20, so if you're into watching, head on over and hit that subscribe bell. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to look for us there and check us out. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can download the current show directly, pick and choose past shows from our archives, or view our galleries. We've got a lot of stuff posted there, so check us out. And finally, join us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next session, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.